Bloomington has truly been home sweet home for the Hoosiers since Curt Cignetti's arrival. Indiana, a perfect 11-0 at Memorial Stadium under Coach Sig, winning by an average of nearly 40 per game. I'd say it's fair to expect a slightly tighter window this weekend with number 9 Illinois in town. And we could not be more thrilled to welcome Curt Cignetti in for today's big interview. With Dave Wanstead here as well, we're going to hold off as long as possible on the Pittsburgh or West Virginia talk. I'm guessing we will not win that battle. Before we get to that, Curt, I do want to talk about this week. And listen, all joking aside, when you first got there were a lot of students who had never been to a game who probably couldn't find the stadium with a mat because there wasn't a ton of interest in football. Now I look at this weekend, the game is totally sold out. The secondary market prices are insane for tickets. What's the environment like, and what's it felt like leading up to tomorrow's game?
Well, you know, since we got rolling last year, we've been selling out, and all the games coming up at home are sold out. So it'll be loud, it'll be rocking. I'm glad we're playing this game at home, and you know, it's over the top.
What about Illinois? We've seen them increase their ranking all the way into the top 10. They've won a tough road game at Duke. When you see them on film, what are the first couple of things that jump out to you?
Well, they're well coached. You know, Brett does a great job and has for a long time. And they're a veteran outfit, too. Had a lot of guys back from last season. You know, they know how to win. They had a good year last year, so they know what it takes in the year.
Hey, Coach, number one, I appreciate your time. We both do. We know how tough it is during the season, then alone a week like this. No X and O questions from me, okay? I'm done with that. But I do want to bring up, okay, Coach, I do want to bring up something that's probably more dear to your heart, I know it is, than the X and O's. That's your father, your dad. And I just got to give a little history because I've been honored to be associated with a little bit of the Cignetti family history. And it goes back to when I was in high school, okay? Coming out of high school, Curt's father was recruiting me to go to West Virginia. And I was going to commit to West Virginia, but my high school coach in Pittsburgh, he was a Pitt guy. And he was not going to let that happen. And then full circle, Curt's brother, Frank, I go back and coach at Pitt, and he's my offensive coordinator. And Frank's father, okay, Hall of Fame coach, okay, stadium named after him. I mean, the whole bit. His dad is coming to my Pitt practices, and I tell you, it was fantastic. We told old stories, old lies, and we talked football and family, and I just enjoyed it. I would ask Frank, his brother, is your dad coming this week? Is your dad? So we had a great time, but two questions for you in one. Number one, what was it like growing up with your father being a football coach, a head coach in that family? And two, all the success that your father had, you know, Hall of Fame coach, what did you take from him that you're still using today that helps bring the success, obviously, that you've had?
Yeah, well, you know, it was a great upbringing, and I was the oldest of four. And we went to West Virginia in '70, and Coach Bowden had just taken over as head coach, and Dad was the offensive coordinator. I can remember sitting in the kitchen and when he was on the phone with you, believe it or not. And I remember when you went to Pitt, how disappointed he was. You know, so that was always a great time growing up as a coach's kid, as long as you were winning. Now, you know, when you weren't winning, you know, and he was a head coach, you know, it wasn't very fun getting those for sale signs in your front yard or seeing your dad hung an effigy on campus. But that's all part of it, you know. But really learned a lot from him. I mean, he was a great role model, a leader. He led by example through his actions. You know, he didn't have much to say. You know, he was pretty direct. I'm kind of that way, too. You know, I guess I probably ruined the Cignetti family name when I was out there on the national scale last year when I first took the job. Some of the comments I made to stir things up around here. He was the opposite of that. But very honest guy, really cared about people, had a great work ethic, very competitive. Never saw a challenge he didn't think he wouldn't conquer. Beat cancer, you know, was given his last rites twice my senior year of high school. So, you know, just a great person to learn from.
Hey, Coach, what from a staff standpoint, guys, and Mike Shanahan, your offensive coordinator, played for me at Pitt for 4 years, and Tino, who left, was my quarterback. But these guys they just spoke the world of you, and you've had a lot of coaches that have been with you a long time.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy when you go out to hire an assistant coach?
Well, loyalty's big with me, and like Bryant Haynes is going on year 11, my defensive coordinator. He was with me at IUP for a couple years, and Mike, my last year at IUP, going on year 10, and both those guys have elevated themselves now to coordinator roles. And because they were capable, and I gave them the opportunity. When I was an assistant, the guys I worked for believed in going outside, and that always stung when you were like the next guy. But I thought both those guys were ready, and I gave them the opportunity. They've both done a tremendous job, and got really a number of guys in the organization that have been with me 5, 6, 7 years. So that helps. They know what the expectations are, how I am. And I know how they are, but still every day, you got to get better. You can't get complacent, can't let familiarity breed complacency. And but got a great staff, and they make it happen.
Curt, we like to have a little fun with our guests on Friday by hitting the Wayback Machine button. Last week, we showed Kirk Ferentz a picture of himself from his high school yearbook. He had the full mullet flow and the great hockey hair. We dug into the archives as well, and we have a college-aged Curt Cignetti ready to throw the football downfield. I'm curious as to what your players would say if they saw these throwback photos of you.
I'm sure they'd like that. Yeah, I had a lot of hair back then. Big hair was in, and I had a bunch of it. So that's about as close to the action as I got. No, I got in a couple games, I guess. But, that was 1979.
I do want to ask you, Curt, quickly about your current quarterback. There's been so much talk about Fernando Mendoza, the Cal transfer. A lot of folks look at him from a skill standpoint and say if he progresses as they expect him to progress, he's going to be a very high NFL draft pick. What do you think of what you've seen from him so far, and how close has he come to scratching the surface of what he can be?
Well, you could see the skill set at Cal. And then when he got to us, he needed some work in the pocket with just patience and poise and getting through the progressions, footwork. And I'll tell you what, he really came a long way at the end of spring. And then the last week or two of camp again. And the progress he's made since the first game, just really pleased. He was, I think, 20 of 21 last week, and he didn't play in the second half at all. But he got big-time arm, a lot of zip and velocity, quick whip. He's mobile. He can extend plays, get himself out of trouble. I don't think we've given up a sack, and some of that's because of him. And he's gotten better in the pocket, which was the big point of emphasis. And, he's got a big upside because, let me tell you, he's a great person, and if there were 25 hours in a day, he'd spend all 25 of them preparing to get himself better. And I can't say enough good things about him, and I think he's got great upside. Was at Pitt under Dave Hart, 66 through 68. Then we went to West Virginia. I was there 70 to 82, and then went back to Pitt 3 different times. I coached at Pitt nine years, and my brother did too, coached at Pitt with Dave, obviously. And now I've got a niece at West Virginia. So a lot of split loyalties there. It's a great game, very competitive. Rich Rod will do a great job at West Virginia, and Pat's done a great job at Pitt as well. So I'm glad they're playing that game. They should play it every year.
I'm not saying anything. I wore my University of Miami ring today. So
Oh,
I'm not saying.
this is what happens. You coach that many places, you can't ever lose.
I'm going to get an Indiana ring someday. Don't worry. With all my daughters there, I'm going to get something.
We know a guy or two there that may make that happen. Hey, Curt, we really, truly appreciate the time on the eve of such a big game. Wish you and the Hoosiers the best of luck tomorrow night against Illinois.
Appreciate it. Great to see you guys.